when the gloss comes out, you've got to start worrying. I mean, that's like the neck wobbles coming next.
So we're back with another week of Love All Lie Island after the most eventful 7 days we've had so far. It's been wild. Everything's changed.
My brain's changed.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got the goodies in there, you've got the baddies in there, and somebody's oiled the floor between them so that they're all changing roles. It's incredible.
There's literally 1 week I love someone, the next week I'm not so sure about them.
And Jess is now the wise woman in there. You know? Who knew?
But for me, perhaps the most exciting development is Naz finally went on a date.
Yeah.
And I think it's going well, but let's take a look at that.
Portsmouth.
Did you go uni then?
So I've literally just finished uni last year. I did like history and archaeology.
Oh wow!
I don't think people would like really expect it of me either.
To be into like ancient history and that.
Yeah, history's quite a random
That's so
subject,
cool.
isn't it?
Yeah. Also, you smell really nice. I will just keep getting wafts sitting over to me.
Is
But
it?
yeah, no, I like it.
Yeah.
Really like it.
Finally. But also, like, if I was going to go on a date with anyone, Naz is who I'd want to go on a date with. He's the most engaged out of anyone, I think.
I know, and I feel sorry that we've all been feeling sorry for him. I mean, he's been so patronised.
Yeah.
And I saw another side to him there, and I was pleasantly surprised. He's got the best flirty body language of all the guys in there. He got her up for a hug when he arrived. He fed her with food, always a good, well, usually a good move, depends how long you've known one. You know, shoving food in the mouth's not a good idea, but
I'm all right,
mind you, she got a huge chunk of food in her mouth at one point, so she's obviously instant gratification in bed as well. I hope he likes that and noticed it. But he did this amazing technique called an eye flash, and it was very subtle, but it would be really powerful. So he was using a lot of eye contact with her while she was talking, but then he does a little, he just part closes them, and that's very seductive. He also did an eyebrow flash, where there was a moment where he just, I can't do it, but he kind of raised his eyebrows.
I don't have any eyebrows.
No,
so
and please don't try it at home, because we'll all be going around looking incredibly weird. But it was so good. And I thought, no, we've underestimated this. This is the sex bomb of the villa.
Well, they've turned him into a bit of a puppy, haven't they?
Oh,
He
absolutely.
wouldn't be in there if he was kind of the puppy that they've turned him into.
No, and I must admit, when he did his VT, he said, oh, I'm a mummy's boy and everything like that. But, you know, he did do this wide-eyed, slightly innocent look. But he's, you know, I think he's an amazing guy. As you say, the longer he was being left on the shelf in there, the more he looked like somebody. You get this kind of, oh, just feel sorry for them, they're not sexy and everything. And it's a shame, because it's got nothing to do with their attraction. It's just nobody picked up on them straight away. And I think we're going to see a turnaround in the hierarchy of the males in there. You know, some of those alpha guys are suddenly going to see that he's the top guy in there.
They also know that he's popular as well, because him and Shanice were saved by the public, even though they're not a couple. So, you know, for them, they're going to know it's not because of their romantic connection that people want them in there.
Absolutely. So, mind you, we're saying this. Next week, we'll come in, he'll have bitten the head off a kid, and we'll go, no, he's horrible. But he's amazing at the moment, and getting his deserved moment in the sun.
Yeah, definitely. No, I'm excited for him. But also we have Shanice has finally found her guy, which is exciting. Or has she? Well, let's take a look.
And you're making me believe,
You can kiss me if you want to kiss me.
I'm somebody special, that I'm somebody, yeah, I'm somebody that I don't have to settle.
So my favourite bit about that, though, was Rebecca's reaction.
When the gloss comes out, you've got to start worrying. I mean, that's like the neck wobbles coming next. And I'm sure where the fudge was sitting, she made sure she was well in view and in control of that kiss as well. I mean, she's gone right into two men are fighting over me. You can kiss me if you want to. You know, I love the way she's. Well, she never really gave up control, did she? But yeah, she's certainly there as alpha female at the moment.
She keeps talking about it's gone from one extreme to the other as well, and her face lights up every time.
Oh, cat got the cream doesn't begin. And, you know, the nails, and I love the way she can actually scratch her nose without clawing her brain out with those fingernails. But, yeah, all the signs of power, this very precise, you know, all the others are kind of ruffling their hair and stroking their hair in a self-comfort. She's just organising hers, you know, Disney. I'd give her a Disney job, but I don't think it would be one of the cuddly ones at the moment.
I don't either. But with Rebecca, because she kind of, this time last week, she all we could talk about was Rebecca, and she'd really stirred up the house, and it was all eyes on her.
Yeah.
But as for Shanice, it's gone from one extreme to the other. It's kind of done the same for Rebecca, but not in her favour, isn't it?
I think, and they do this on Love Island almost every year, they bring in a disruptor.
Yeah.
And they're always drop-dead gorgeous, usually catwalk-looking. They come in, they disrupt everybody, and then I think they should go, because I'm already a bit fed up with her and bored with it. She's not putting in it, apart from getting slightly angry and slighted. She's got no right to do that anyway, so yeah, don't bother. It wasn't even a good fight, really, with the fudge. And I think in terms of pulling the guys or creating a relationship, we're not seeing any of that at all. It's like, I've chosen you, and then she seems to just leave them alone and wonder why somebody else picks up on them. So I am very bored with her at the moment. I think that space could be used by somebody a bit more interesting.
Why do you think that is? Do you think is it kind of that she thinks she's kind of above everyone, or she was just on such a high pedestal before? Yeah,
I think she probably just thought, I'll go in, I'll look so gorgeous, I'll pick the guys off, and then I'll sit there and they will just dance attention on me because they won't fancy the other women in there anymore, but it's not happening. That show is a great leveller in terms of looks, you know, and you do get the more attractive one, but after they've been there a few weeks and the old sun's been, you know, they all start to look pretty much in the same ballpark, but the other ones have had longer to establish a personality, and she's not doing it, I don't think. Maybe she thinks, as you say, she hasn't got to.
She's not established any bond with the girls or the boys either,
No, or been a very good villain, really. No. She should have won that argument with the fudge, I mean.
Because Maura, when she first came in, like, kind of, it was a bit of love or a hater, but she was fascinating to watch, and she carried on that throughout the whole time, didn't she?
Absolutely. I think Maura, you know, came in last time with that kind of drop-dead gorgeous model look, but she really hit the ground, and she was so, I mean, personality oozing out of her eyeballs. But it's just not happened with Rebecca. I, to be honest, I thought she would have gone last night.
I thought she was going to go too. What do you think of Shanice and Luke T? Do you think that's... Because I thought the timing was quite convenient when he first decided that he was going to say, no, it's you, and it was just after she'd been on the date with Wallace. And then this time it was just straight after she'd had a conversation with Wallace saying that she was going to get to know him more. And then this happened.
I think...
I can't read him yet.
I think, to be honest, that's the one thing that Rebecca's been very responsible for, that I think any two guys that were around, she probably would have picked up and, oh, look, they love me, just to get... That, like most of these scenes in Love Island, it's more about power with the other women or the other guys in the group. And I think, for the fudge, I think that gave her very much the power. Whether it will pan out, I don't know if she's that interested in him. He does very good flirty body language, and he was looking completely smitten, but that suited her. So I think she's got a guy that she can call the shots with, which is exactly what she wants. Rebecca, is she going to move in on those two guys now? You know, I mean, that will make a good TV. But I don't think the fudge is that fascinated, really.
No, because the first thing she did after the kiss was more kind of thing of pride, wasn't it? Than it was anything to do with...
Did you see that?
Yeah, she wasn't like going in for another
one. Nothing moved. I mean, you know, when you wear makeup and you kiss a guy properly, you know, you come out with lipstick everywhere and nothing. It was just perfect, absolutely perfect.
So, well, Naz and Shanice have had a great week. Pretty much for everyone else, it's been pretty dire. But Leanne and Mike... we're going to start with where it all kicked off, which was when Leanne first... Was it the ick?
Oh, ick, yeah.
Ick.
Just like little things annoys me. Really? Honestly, girls, thinking about it, I'm like, I don't want to be around. I don't want him to touch me. I don't want him to kiss me. I just don't want to be around the boy. And listen, genuinely, girls, I am unhappy. Yeah.
I mean, we said before, but I've never been that convinced by Leanne and Mike, but her venom towards him and just how repulsed she is all of a sudden, like, it's a lot, wasn't it? It was
brutal. When she spoke to him afterwards, she didn't do any softeners at all. Yeah, you know, I think that the it's not you, it's me routine, it's corny, but at least it gives the other one with some pride. But just to sort of be as brutal as she was with him, she gave him no soft exit whatsoever. But I was fascinated by the body language in this scene, because you have to think about how these scenes are put together, really, and I am using that phrase because if you wanted to have a quiet word with the girls and maybe don't tell anybody about that. You sit down for that kind of a chat. You would lean forward. You'd all keep it, and the cameras are on you. But she turned it into a performance to actually be standing up like that for no purpose. They would
like
not
a
stand
stage
like
as well,
that.
Isn't it?
No, they weren't at a cocktail party. They were just standing in the middle of nowhere. She stood right in the middle of them all, and then she performed in a way to keep them amused. And you could see that their signals, because they quite like Mike. I don't think they knew there was much wrong with him, presumably. You can see them beginning to use cut-off gestures where they're slightly embarrassed at what they're hearing. It's gone from, look, I don't know how to say this, but it's really awkward, I don't know what to do. It went into, here's it, here's this, here's that, and she got worse and worse. And they're trying to kind of hide away, but she carries on. She's very much enjoying being the centre of attention. And her behaviour afterwards, going and laying in the bed and, he shouldn't be going around talking to other women. I think we've seen a very different side to her, and I think for most fans, there's a question mark hanging over her. Why did she do that? Because she would have known that it almost sealed her fate to be out of the show, which she clearly, I don't think, wanted. No. But I don't think we've ever really seen the real Leanne, and I'm not sure she went into the right show, quite honestly. I don't think she got it. I think Mike would have given her a bit of a hall pass to be in there, presumably, pretend to be in love, and I think win the series. I think she just suddenly couldn't cope with that anymore. There may be things that we don't, maybe, he was getting a bit frisky or something, I don't know, but it was really extraordinary behaviour, and whether she thought she could do that and still stay in, but she didn't leave herself with enough time to navigate that.
She did say in her VT when she went in that she was scared of men and that she'd never been in a relationship. She called it she's only been in a situationship where there's a relationship with no label. A bit, when I hear those phrases, I always think that might be, cynical hat going on now, that might be the way that you're going to explain that suddenly the paper's going to be full with a load of guys saying, well, we've been out with her. Oh no, it wasn't a relationship, it was a situationship. I mean, who's been in a situationship? I mean, who's ever had somebody say, how do you fancy having a situationship with me? And also she was the Beyonce of, she showed so many different facets. And we never saw that.
Quite controversial. Yeah, I think when she comes out, we might see a bit more. I don't dislike her. I think she's great, but she clearly got very muddled in there, I think.
Well, it had huge repercussions, obviously, for Mike. But
Mike went on supermarket sweep, didn't he? He might as well have had a trolley. I'll have you, and you.
It was crazy. I mean, it was obviously huge repercussions for Mike, but pretty much for every girl in the house.
Yeah.
So take a look at this one.
I'll be lying if I said you weren't one of them.
You know what? I wasn't really expecting that, to be honest.
Really?
Just after, obviously the start, what is your thought process behind that?
Mine is just kind of, obviously, like you said, it wasn't the best start, but I know why it wasn't the best start. I definitely will be respectful, do you know what I mean? That's why I came to speak to you.
Fair enough.
Cool.
I actually thought the way, I mean, the whole way he's handled this has just blown my mind. But obviously, there's also the conversation with Sophie.
Sophie, yeah.
But just his audacity that he feels that, that he can go and talk to them, and considering the friendship he's built with some of those girls as well.
I do, and I am sighing. However, in a way, unless there's something we don't know, he kind of had every right to do that. I mean, not for maybe the other women in there, but, just why should he sit there in mourning, which is obviously what Leanne wanted to see. And I think he knew that he needed to reboot his ego very quickly. He's alpha male in there, and unfortunately what Leanne did to him would have knocked his alpha male status, which would compromise his status in the guy group as well. So he had to reboot that quite quickly. I think he chose probably the worst people to go. Sophie, who happens to be his best friend's ex, and
his little sister.
That does put a very odd spin on it, doesn't it? And I think he's probably, maybe he thought that she might just flatter him a bit, because they've got a good sibling relationship. He might have thought that she'd just go, oh, I don't know, and giggle, and do the giggly thing, but she didn't. She just looked terminally bored, actually. And then he chose Jess, who obviously thought, well, she's a nice softie, she'll give me an easy ride here. She'll probably go, oh, really? No. She turned into sort of Miss Marples, didn't she? Forensic.
And she really went up in my estimations. Especially, I thought it was interesting as well when he spoke to Luke M. He kind of as well just kind of presented it, just so you know, I am going to crack on with Jess. There was no kind of like, do you mind? What's your relationship like at the moment? It's just like, I'm doing this.
Alpha male gets first pick of the women, that's why.
And considering he pied her off quite sharply, really, at the beginning, and he was stunned when she was like, I'm not sure.
It's funny because I'm agreeing with you all of this, but at the same time I feel a bit sorry for him. I mean, I feel sorry for what...
I mean, he's had the most brutal dumping of the week this week.
I mean, nothing... Even some of the dumpings I've seen historically where people have gone off to another villa and come back with somebody else, that's been very painful, but this was odd for no reason painful. I would have thought... I think we all thought they got the kind of relationship established that she would not have been that brutal and left his ego shredded on the floor.
Yeah. But I think it's interesting when he came and approached her by the sunbeds, he came and you could see he was pretty chuffed with himself, I thought.
I think he's a policeman, or he was a policeman, whatever, but I think that kind of bravado is part of the job.
Yeah.
You know, you can't look anxious and nervous in situations. You have to be in control. You have to look in control. Yeah. So maybe that's a trait from there. I'm not standing up for him because I think he's a wonderful character. I mean, what we might be seeing tomorrow and over the next few days, I might be going boo, boo, boo. But I am, in my mind, making excuses for him. But I just have a feeling Leanne might come out and tell us something else. I don't know.
It's been interesting anyway.
Oh.
But for me, probably the biggest turnaround this week is Sophie, who hasn't had a great week.
No.
That's actually just watched the beginning of her week to the end of the week.
Congratulations, Sophie.
What to do? That's...
Connor, I'm so sorry. Your time in Love Island is over. You've got 30 minutes to pack up and say your goodbyes.
No worries, thank you very much.
No, I don't want to go yet, so that's how I feel.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. It's a very stressful situation, you know what I mean?
No, I don't want to pressure you to do anything you don't want to do.
I mean, in between this is only a couple of days in between that, and one of those days, Sophie spent the entire day in tears with, sunglasses on, with the girls around her. And actually, if you look at the moment Connor's leaving, she can't contain her excitement, almost. And then this again last night, by her staying, even though she's got a guy outside, someone else has to go. So it's throwing someone else into the bus, and essentially that person was always going to be Leanne, who was her best friend in the house.
Yeah, I like Sophie. I don't underestimate her, though, because, I mean, the love of her life, allegedly, was chucked out. She was pretty quick about the fact that, oh, I'll stay, and who knows, I might find somebody else.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah, oh, please, force me, hold me back, somebody, I think she's probably realised that she's got a guy that was very possessive outside, watching everything that she does. She doesn't want to look like a baddie if she... But, a day spent thinking about it, and then she was on the campaign trail last night. I mean, how mean was that to actually go around pitching, look, I don't want to make you feel bad, but I do want to stay in. So you've now found one woman that actually is attracted to you, but I think you should not pick them. You should pick one of us. I think we're seeing giggly Sophie. I think we're seeing level-headed Sophie. We've seen assertive Sophie. I think Sophie's smart. I hope she is. I think she will find somebody else. I don't think she's that bothered, quite honestly, that she lost the love of her life.
No.
I will wait to see who new comes in. I don't think she's got the nasty girl title or wants it at all.
No, I don't think it's that at all.
No, but she's shrewder than she looked.
Definitely.
No, not saying she doesn't look clever. But yeah, she was working that one out in her mind. So I'd like to see her do well at the moment, because I think she's got a side to her that I admire when she's not doing the giggly stuff. But hopefully they've got a ready-made, perfect for Sophie man that they're going to send in.
I mean, she's definitely emerged as a bit of a gameplay, but I don't really mind a gameplay because it is essentially
Why
a game,
would you not?
isn't it?
I mean, it's the toughest game of all, because you have to be an adept game player but not look like one. Not in one... Because
Which is what she's done very well,
Why she's done well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I love that. I mean, do be smart. Do fool us as well, which is what it's all about, you know. If you want to fool us and pretend to fall in love, that's what the show's about. If you want to be shrewder than that, go for it.
Yeah. Interesting though, she has gone with a guy who did kind of lay it out and tried it on with her as well that day. Now she's coupled up with him. How do you see that going in the next few days?
I have a feeling we won't see a lot of them, actually. No. I think that one might rumble under the duvet, you know, as in not in a sexy way, but just a sort it out way. I think she'll be doing a lot of talking to the women because she's got to re-establish herself to a certain extent. But it's tricky for her because she won't want to. I mean, you know, she's lost Connor. She doesn't want to look too quickly as though she's met somebody else. But there, on the other hand, she's got a lot of working out to do to keep the popularity going, I think.
They need to throw someone in there for her, don't they, essentially?
Please, I hope right now the plasticine is out and they're modelling the perfect Sophie man, and he doesn't look at all like Connor.
I think she'll work it out, though. She's bright, I think.
Yeah, and she knows showbiz. Presumably, she's had quite a canny eye. So yeah, I would like nothing better to see her perfect man turn up, and then I could happily watch that, and Naz being happy as well for quite a while. That would give. I don't mind if it's a quiet week next week. I'll watch that. Naz full time on there, being sexy and happy and everything like that.
I think that could be it for Naz. We'll see.
Yeah, yes, because I don't think the other guys, even as mean as some of them are, would be predatory about a Naz woman.
Yeah, and he brings something that they don't, doesn't he, as well? So.
Yeah, like sense of humour, being genuinely funny. He's very sharp in the way that he thinks, self-effacing. The list is endless.
Well, we'll see. We'll find out next week. I'm sure it'll all be a complete different story again.
But join
us next Thursday for another episode of Love or Lie Island.